I think one of the most important things we do as we interact with each other as human beings is to remind how do we see each other in what's called being made in the image and likeness of God. In Genesis 1:26 and 27, God pronounces that human beings have been made in the image and likeness. Okay, and those are two powerful words in the Old Testament, in the Torah scroll. To be made in the image, and in the Latin, people are familiar with the imago Dei, the image of God, means an idealized sense of gifting that human beings have been given. And one of the primary things that differentiate a human being from all the other parts of creation is our freedom to both turn into the nature of God, but also to turn away from the way we've been created. It's a unique thing that human beings have amongst all of creation by being stamped with this image of God, is this unbelievable freedom. So where dogs, cats, snakes, bushes are kind of bound into the created order in a particular way, human beings can actually be inhumane. We can step away from kind of what we were created to do. We can imagine possibilities that even go beyond our capacity as limited human beings to even actualize, right? So we can have fantasies, we can imagine other worlds, and we can also take that imaginative power, that freedom, into unbelievable areas of charity and grace. All of this is an image of God thing, right? This amazing capacity to freely imagine things and then act upon it in really profound ways. Being created in the likeness of God is how we live out the image, right? So if do I live in a certain way that moves me away from being like God in my values, in my practices, in my economic spending, right? So that's the tension point that human beings live in. They have this ideal of an image that they hold out for themselves, but through brokenness, through distractions, through pain, through loss, through shame, through suffering, through bad mentorships, through systematic or institutional evils that maybe constrain us, human beings move away from that image and their likeness becomes distorted. They become bent. In Washington State, if you go on the Washington coastline, you'll see these gorgeous madrona trees. And if you've ever been around a madrona tree, you'll realize how powerful a madrona is. You can't even cut it with an axe. It's such dense wood. When there's fires, madronas are the first things to survive. They won't even burn that deeply, right? They're incredibly tough. But the madrona trees on the Washington coast have been hit by 70 and 80 mile-an-hour winds all winter long, right? And those winds push against these trees as they're trying to grow, and they become these twisted, gnarly, bent things that are quite beautiful on one level because of their survival instinct. They literally clutch onto the side of cliffs. Their tenacity is amazing. But if you put that same tree in a vacuum without those winds buffeting, it would grow straight up. And we as human beings are like those madrona trees. The context around the systems, and you think of this in terms of companies or institutions, can constrain, bend, and force people into a mold of becoming something other than what their image was created them to be. So when we work alongside human beings, we remember these tensions are always at place. There's a certain image we've been created for, but the likeness that we may be receiving is not in line with that at all. So sensitivity around employer-manager relationships, for example, right? When we have people who come into our workplace and working with us, their likeness may not be aligned with some of the images that we would hope for and maybe want. But what is their story? Where did they come from? What did they overcome to get to this place? May help us appreciate that they're moving in a direction of image that may take more work than some other people.